Hey guys, it's Frederick here. Just a quick rundown of the RS. I've been so busy lately, I haven't had quite a chance to work on it again. But what I did today quickly, I just bolted on the doors and fenders. This is not the fenders I will be using, and the bonnet's obviously a sport, two-door, a normal sport or GL bonnet. This looks like camo, but it's an actual original bonnet. Somebody just painted with a brush. But I do know it's factory, I do know it's original, so the hood's gaps is still excellent. So I bolted the fenders on. It's just basically so I can get a rough estimate on the gaps of the car. As you can see, we've got a high gap here and a low gap over there, and then we've got a low gap here and a high gap here. But this is just only because the chassis is not, the front end's basically resting on the rear end, and we've got two vice grips up there clamping it down. So this is where I'm busy figuring out where to keep the doors. You'll see a high, low. This is basically where I am keeping the doors. This is also a very clean fender I'm using. As you can see, the front end gaps is exact. Well, we don't have a gap issue or anything on the front end. The doors gaps over here is quite close. So high gap up here, low gap over there. So what I'll be doing is basically get a sweet spot. I'll pull the body towards an angle and adjust it. Luckily the jig I built, I can adjust the chassis and stuff. So what we'll do now is I'm going to adjust it. We don't need a lot of adjustments, like 3 millimeters, 1 millimeter on the one side, maybe 3 millimeters on this side. So not even 3 millimeters. So what we're doing is we're just gonna basically fine-tune all the gaps on the car, because we've got access of moving the front end. We can actually now perfect all the gaps on the body. The wheelbase will stay exact, because the front cross member and the rear leaf springs are bolted onto the jigs, so that's 100% accurate. So basically now we're just making sure the front end, basically the issue we're having now, the rear end slightly like this, the front end slightly like this. So we're just gonna pull it on the frame. I left enough gap so we can just basically pull the frame down, and then we can make sure all the gaps is fine before we start welding, or actually just start bolting everything on. So this is just quickly fitting all the panels, and now we can do that adjusting we want it. So what I'll do is I'll adjust on the chassis a bit, pull a bit forward, rear, backwards, which on the top or the lower, just to make sure we can get the door at exact gaps with the fender and the rear wing. I'm waiting on my new fenders still. I can't do much without my new fenders, as I'll be doing everything according to them. But this is a clean fender that came off a car. It's a good fender. I know I can trust the gaps on this fender as well, and it's an original fender still. But basically we're just going to use them. They bolted on. We're just going to mock up the lines, and then also the doors are basically bolted central. So where they bolted onto the A-post, they're actually not forward or backwards, up or down. They're literally in the center on both sides. So we do know, even though we're changing the body or anything, we want to get it as straight and perfect as possibly, with the door still center on the A-post bolted. So when we take the doors off and do all the welding and all those finickies, we know it's a straight fit. Or if we need this minor adjustments, we can literally just tweak it, adjust the door slightly up, slightly down, slightly forward, backwards. You know how the adjustment works on the doors. But we don't want to be in a scenario where basically fixing up all the gaps, and the doors is basically flush bolted forward or flush bolted rear, and we do all the welding, and then the door can't go more forward because it's already flush, and then we got a gap issue, and then we know the body, everything is going to be out. But we working on keeping the doors on the exact original or dead center position, top and bottom, and we're going to put the gaps, we're going to do all the measurements, and then we're going to, once everything is like 99% accurate towards the original bolting places, then I'll start bolting the body, all the chassis and all the spot welds. I'll start screwing them together, and then make sure we've got a nice secure front end. We can open up the door, slam them closed several times to make sure the body doesn't move or we haven't lost any gaps or anything like that. Once that's in place and we're happy with the gaps, then I'll start doing the welding on the soles, and also on the chassis rails. I'll do the plug welding on them, make sure they're clamped flush, grind, they finished, well, they're basically cleaned already. So then we can drill in the holes on the chassis leg, clamp it flush down, and then start plug welding them. And then the other side's leg was just cleaned up from the previous legs, so we got loads of plug welds there we can do already. And then once that's done, we can go ahead and welding a bit more reinforcing bars inside the car, as we will be removing the entire floor pan. So once we're 100% certain on the height, the gaps, everything of the car, we can start removing the rest of the floor, clean all that up, and then basically when that's done, I can start cleaning up the panels on the inside. Then we can do some weld through primer, and then I can move to the back, because we might wait a month or two for the new floors. So we can't do anything on the lower bulkhead because I might be replacing that as well. So we can't do anything further on the lower bulkhead or the floors until we've received the new panels. But we still got loads of work to do. We still have these corners we need to make up new repair patches, clean up on the inside, do some plug welds on the holes, and then we might actually, this has been welded, ooh, where's my focus? This has been welded several times. We might actually just be changing on that piece. But we can do all these corners. We can put in new boot floors. I have a clean front end, we can cut those off. So we can just follow the factory line like everybody else does it. Cut them out, weld the replacement pieces. We can do these corners. We can do this corner, this corner, this corner. I wanted to ask you guys, what's your input? Should I replace this rear valance with a new panel, or should I just repair on it? It's really straight, but as you can see, it's rotten pretty badly. We've got, oh my soul, look at this, look at this. Ah, great, we're finding more filler. So this rear panel has got some rust, and it's also rusted through here. So, you know, I just answered my own question. I did buy a new panel, a new rear valance. So we are doing all the effort. We are building an expensive car. We are doing everything properly. For me to sand all this filler down and just finding 6,000 dents and more rust hiding away, as you can see here, we might as well just weld in a braze and take the skin off, and we can, even this reinforced bar has got rust on it. So let me just check. Yeah, no, even this reinforced bar, as you can see here, it's rusted everywhere. So we won't be saving on that brace. So on our donor body, we've got a super clean one inside this body. I'll just roughly cut it out. I'll just cut the valance out, and yeah, we need to draw the spot welds out those, because we will be using these cutter corners and stuff on that car. So I'll just take that whole inner structure out, and clean it up. We can put some nice wild through primer in the inside of it, and then we might as well actually, yes, you know what, we might as well replace, see, oh no, it's different panels. Okay, it's different sections. Sorry, I wasn't sitting there for a time, and I talk a lot. So yeah, we'll just replace the rear valance and the inner frame. We've got clean ones. I got a new rear valance. I'm ordering a new front valance, complete new floor, or at least the corners, because it's very expensive to get to SA. So yeah, and then we've also got small cleaning up to do on the welds on the roof still, and some filling to do, but we will be filling these corners with lead. I just need to finish grinding these blobs down, and then we will be filling this with lead. And then also we'll need to make a new repair piece for you. We'll just drill out the spot weld so we can nicely clean inside here. But like I said, I might be replacing on this section here. I should be able to find one from one of these cars I got, but we'll only see once it's totally grinded down. But we're making some progress. It's starting to look like a car again. We're really making some progress. This is like a true Frankenstein car. It's got panels and doors from probably 4 different cars, because the hood and the front section came from the same car. The fender, I actually made it up from my previous RS build and never got to use it because I managed to get new wings. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's basically, the roof skin is the same from that one. No, the roof skin is from a different car. So basically this car's got panels of 6 different other cars. So yeah, this is going to be my little Frankenstein build. But once everything is welded and new floor pans, let's put it this way, once all the body work's done and welding is done, you'll see I'm just spraying with random primer and stuff. I'm not too much worried about it. Once everything is welded securely in place and we're happy with all the work, the car will go get sandblasted. So we'll get all the structure parts of the car sandblasted, cleaned out nicely, and then we can edge prime it, and then we can start doing the sanding, and then maybe fix some dents or imperfections. We'll just fill it up and sand it down. I'm gonna try and see if I can do everything with lead. Otherwise, if it's thin layers, we'll just end up using normal filler. But if there's any serious filling like on the roof posts and stuff, we'll be using lead. I'll see if I can get a tripod, then I'll start making videos while I'm working on the car, so you can see how I'm doing what, in what sense. But that's all for me on this side. Hope you guys have a good one. Cheers.